Hey guys, happy 2026. This is my first sit down video of the year, and it feels really good to be sitting back in the seat, chatting with you guys, doing one of my favorite videos, which is a try on haul. I placed an order at Sephora. I got some fun things, and I also got some things in PR over the past month or whatever, and I did not order a full face, so I thought I would use some of the PR products to kind of like fill in those holes. But it feels really, really good to be sitting down and chatting with you guys. I hope you had a wonderful, wonderful holiday season. I cannot believe it's 2026. Crazy, crazy times. So anyway, let me show you what I ordered. So I picked up the new Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. They just recently reformulated this, and I actually haven't tried this in a long time, so I'm really curious to see how I like this one. So I got this in shade 2. We'll see. I've always been kind of confused about Armani's naming convention when it comes to their foundations, but I know when I was much tanner, I was like a 5 or even like a 4.5 or something. Anyway, we'll try 2. We'll see how that works today. And then Dior has come out with some new products, newly reformulated products, like the Dior Lip Glow Oils. So I got 2 shades, Mocha Sparkly and Minty Sparkly. They have a bunch of different finishes. I happen to personally like sparkly, so I thought I would try those too. And they also came out with a new bronzer stick. So this is the Bronzing Balm Stick. I got it in shade 01 Light Fair. I really like their contour stick in 1, so I'm curious to see how this compares to that. And I also picked up the Natasha Denona Mini Eye Sculpt Cool Tone Palette. I want to see actually how similar this is to the Mini Eye Sculpt. I think it just is like the neutral tone palette. Anyway, I'll pull that out when I start applying this. And this I won't be able to try on for you today, but I did want to try this from Kerastase. This is the Blonde Absolute. And this is their Universal Fortifying Heat Protecting Serum. I've been using one from Orbe recently, which I really enjoy. And I think I warned you guys in a previous video, but I'm going to be trying a lot of different hair products since I just recently bleached my hair. So anyway, I thought I would give that a shot. I will definitely report back. And here are some things that I have gotten in PR that I thought we could try along with my haul. So we have a primer from Patrick Starrr, Secure the Glow. I have a cream blush from Refi. I have a new HD pressed powder from Makeup Forever. I have the shade 1.1 Light. And then this is not new. Well, a lot of these products aren't new. This cream blush from Refi isn't new. This primer and this pressed powder, those products are new. But this mascara from Armani Beauty, they just sent this to me, but I don't believe this is new either. And then I have another few products from Refi, the Lip Sculpt. I thought this could be a nice lip liner since I only have those Dior lip glosses. And then a highlighter in Topaz. I don't have a highlighter, so I thought we would try that. I also did purchase this over Mishmas. I did like a quick little Sephora haul with you guys, and I got the Patrick Ta for eyes. This is the Major Dimension Essential Artistry Edit Eyeshadow Palette, all mattes, but I have this one. So this one is a little bit newer, and I am a little bit more curious about this one, so I think we're going to be focusing on this, but if for whatever reason, I don't know, I need to fill in for some shades or I don't like this, we can move on to this. So if I don't try this today, I will definitely have to try this in a future video. Okay, so let's start with the One Size by Patrick Starrr, the Secure the Glow Tacky Hydrating Primer. So I believe he just recently came out with these primers. This is the one for dry skin, and I believe there is one for oilier skin. I got a package from them that included all of them, but I have already gifted the other formulas because I have very, very dry skin, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to be using a primer that's meant for oily skin. That would just freak out my skin. So anyway, I thought I would try this one today with you guys. So we've got 1 fluid ounce here. It says it's got 24-hour hydration. And oh, wow, I was not expecting that. We've got a glass bottle, and we've got those little beads in there. This kind of reminds me of that Guerlain primer. Do you remember that? It was so big. Like probably 5 years ago. Anyway, so I'm excited to try this. I've had really, really good luck with the One Size Patrick Starrr products. So as you guys know, I'm loving this powder melt spray. But let me go ahead and just pump some of this out I'm just gonna start with 2 pumps. Feels nice. I see I've got some of the beads there. Can you see that on my fingers? Let's see. I feel like it had a scent when I pumped it out, but now that I'm smoothing it over my face, I don't really smell anything, which is nice. This has almost like a really thin gel-like consistency, but it's smooth. You know, it's not tacky or sticky or anything, despite its name, right? It says it's like a tacky hydrating primer. It doesn't actually feel sticky, which is nice. All right, I'm gonna let that kind of set down a little bit. Let's see what else it says here on the box. It says deeply hydrate thirsty skin with BOBA, boba, complex for a glowy, healthy looking complexion that lasts all day. Beta-glucan, Glucan, and hyaluronic acid. O for omega, wow, this obviously is my first video back. O for omega fatty acids, B for black tea, A for antioxidants to protect from environmental stressors. Used before complexion products to prep skin and enhance makeup wear. Where was this made? Let's see. Made in the USA of US and imported materials. Okay. Now that it has set down, it does feel kind of tacky on the skin, and we know that generally is really, really great for helping your foundation last. Like your foundation literally kind of like sticks to your skin. So that's really nice, but it doesn't feel, you know how like some sticky things like setting spray, typically, if it's sticky, you can like kind of feel it. It feels like a film. This doesn't feel like that, thankfully, because I'm really, really, really into the way the way makeup feels on my skin. I just don't want to feel it. It has to be like imperceptible. Yeah, I don't really feel that. So that's really, really nice. Okay, so far so good. Let's move on to the Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I'm so curious why they would mess with what some would deem as like the perfect product. I mean, I know, like I really like the Luminous Silk Foundation, the previous version, but it was never like my absolute favorite, probably because I like tints. I have dry skin, so I just like ones that are like really, really moisturizing with like a really light tint. Like that's really sort of more my thing. But I know this was probably the most popular foundation for like wedding makeup, things like that. So I'm just really curious like why they would change it up. And I wonder if it's because I know a lot of these larger sort of like fashion brands, they're kind of changing their formulas to incorporate more like natural ingredients. Here is shade number 2. I hope that's not too late for me. But when I was on the Sephora site, it's hard. It's hard shopping for foundation. And I was tempted to get 3 because, like I said, was like a 5.5, and then I got 5, and then I got 4.5. Like I've just gotten paler and paler the older I've gotten. I got 2. We'll see if that works. I'm gonna shake this up, and pretty much everything except for the font up here, pretty much everything looks the same. Like the bottle, even the shape of the bottle, that kind of oval shape of the bottle. This is glass, this is plastic. Pretty much everything looks the same. The pump even looks to be the same. So that's nice. That's nice. It's still, shall we say, it's still identifiable. Here is shade number 2. The texture of it looks the same. I remember it was kind of lotiony. It would start to run like that. So not super thick, but not super thin. Not like a serum foundation or anything like that. Let's try this out. That's quite nice. Do I like this more than the other version? I mean, I think it's too early to say. Now, I have not used the Luminous Silk Foundation probably in a couple of years, but I do recall that when I put it on, it would take a bit for me to blend it out. I felt like the coverage was a lot and it looked a little bit streaky. This kind of blended out like a dream, and I do think the 2 is working pretty well for me. Wow, I can't believe I'm this pale, but I'm this pale. Yep, that's about right. Okay, I'm just gonna apply it to this side of my face. We could do kind of like a quick comparison to the non-foundation side. Sorry, I kind of have to blend out all over my forehead because I think I applied too much up there. Yeah, now that I have a couple of layers down, this is what I remember the coverage to kind of look like. So I think maybe they toned it back a little bit so that you could build it up, which I really, really like. Wow, this looks really nice on my skin. I feel like it has a little bit more glow too. I don't think it's the primer. The primer didn't necessarily have a glow to it. You know what I'm noticing? Uh-oh. I'm noticing a little bit of balling up, and that is probably the primer. Uh-oh, can you guys see this? I'm gonna try and zoom in right here, but I'm noticing a little bit of balling up with the primer. I think I need to either let it set down a little bit more or I need to use less. That's generally what that's telling me. Or sometimes it's just the products don't mesh well together, but usually it's just that I did give it time to set down. But more often than not, it's just that I used way too much. So I think I did like 2 pumps of the primer, maybe just 1 next time. And then I don't have to wait as long to like let it set down and all that stuff. Okay, I'm on the Armani site and it says, I'm trying to figure out like, you know, what they changed, if anything. So it's silky, lightweight foundation that instantly blurs and smooths skin, delivering medium buildable coverage. You know what? I think that's what is the biggest difference for me, is that I do feel like this is really blurring compared to the previous foundation. The previous foundation, it just had coverage, you know, it would just sort of like blank out your complexion, get it ready for the rest of your makeup. It was very nice. It was long wear, I remember, but I do remember that it had just a very skin-like appearance, and I like that this has a little bit more of a glow. 24-hour wear plus hydration and a natural glow finish. Now with 18 new shades, wow, to service a wider range of skin intensities and undertones, including olive skin tones. Same iconic silky texture, natural glow finish, it's non-comedogenic, newly enhanced with niacinamide. So beware, niacinamide really agrees well with my skin. I would actually venture to say that that is possibly what's helping with the blurring, because whenever I use niacinamide, it really reduces pore size for me almost immediately. Like when I put it on, I can almost see my pores like, you know, closing up a little bit. Clinically proven to even skin tone, refine texture, and boost luminosity after 14 days. Once applied after dry down, shade remains true to skin all day and is transfer resistant. I'm trying to remember if my previous shades from the previous formula, if it oxidized. I don't remember it ever oxidizing. It is very weightless, I will say that. So there's 44 shades in total. It says some shades have changed. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this. I'll flash this picture up. I'll do like a little screen cap. But it says some shades that have changed. So it has like the previous shade and then what you are now. So that's really handy, especially if you were like a diehard fan. All right, let me pump out one more pump here and apply it to the rest of my face. Oh, I'm also curious to see if I'm gonna get any balling up, because this side, we just spent a lot more time letting it set down. So we'll see if that's the issue. So just doing another shade check. Yeah, I think it works for me and I don't feel like it's oxidized, right? It's been pretty consistent. So I don't see any balling up, by the way. So I think that primer, I can either use less, so then it'll take less time to set down, or I need to spend more time letting it set down. And then, yeah, I don't have any like balling up or anything along my jaw. Okay, great. Well, I'm really liking this so far. What a relief. You know, I feel like when they reformulate stuff, it's always like, oh, here we go. What's it gonna look like? Is it gonna be okay? All right, let's put on some of this Dior bronzer. I'm kind of dying to get a little bit more dimension back into my face here. So again, I got shade 1, light fair. Look at this packaging. So it looks just like the stick foundation, except for the color. Instead of the navy blue, we've got this rich caramel brown. So nice. We have their Canage print up at the top. Oh, it had the CD printed or embossed at the top there, but mine got a little smooshed. Let's do a swatch of this. Ooh, you know, this is a little bit softer than the foundation stick. I guess that's why they're calling it a balm. So yeah, it's a little bit softer. All right, I wonder if I should just draw it on. Yeah, let's see if I can just draw it on. So I'm just going to draw it on where I would naturally, yeah, and the pigmentation is a little bit lighter than the contour stick and the foundation. It has a slight, like cocoa butter fragrance. Slight. That's so weird. It's so slight that I feel like I'm making it up, but I caught a whiff of it actually when I was trying to find a brush to use this. I caught like a whiff of it. It smells like suntan lotion. All right, I've got my Chantecaille Blend and Smooth brush. I'm gonna blend this in. Oh, brush hair. I do like the shade of this bronzer. It is warm without being too orangey. You know, it's like a little peachy. I really like the texture of this stick. It's really creamy. Like, I understand why they use the word balm, but it's not like kind of thick like a balm. It's much creamier than that. Yeah, what a great shade, right? I got some warmth, but I don't feel like I look too Oompa Loompa-ish. Okay, Dior. They're really, really like killing the whole stick game, because that foundation stick, you guys know, I can't get enough of. I love it so, so much. It's probably maybe the second foundation stick I've ever just like fallen head over heels in love with. Generally, I just like, you know, like a tinted moisturizer or whatever. That foundation stick is amazing. That contour stick is amazing. This is also really great. And it is a different formula, but it's nice. It's really, really nice. Okay, so let's try this cream blush from Refi. This is in Malaya, M-L-A-Y-A. I have tried a cream blush from Refi previously, and I really, really enjoyed it. But this is a newer shade to me. It's not new to the market. So there is Malaya. I'm gonna use my daily brush cleaner from Sephora, the Refresh brush cleaner, and brush off that foundation brush that I was using from Bobbi Brown, because it's really great for cream blushes. Let's just tap this on. So pretty. Such a pretty, like, light peachy color. And I'm really, really loving these Refi cream products. I love that Refi bronzer. Oof, that is so good. I've gone on and on about that, so I won't bore you more, but that's a really good product. And this cream blush is really nice too. Great level of pigmentation, blends out beautifully. Yeah, really nice. All right, so this is the shade name. I'm sure I'm slaughtering it, but that's the shade name. And then I've got this gloss highlighter from Refi. I'm doing all of these steps before powdering because all of these products are like cream liquid products. So we will get to the Makeup Forever after I put on this highlighter. So here's the tube. So the shade that I have for this gloss highlighter is Topaz. Ooh, this may be too deep for my skin tone. A swatch, yeah, that's too deep for me. I can use this maybe for something else, but not highlighter. That will not work. Okay, I really enjoy this Ciel highlighter, and I have not used this in a while. So this is in shade Piper. So I'm just going to tap some on, and then just use my finger to blend out. Such a beautiful highlight. Look at that. Gorgeous. There's so many like new-ish, not brand spanking new, but new-ish brands at Sephora that I have been loving. Ciel being one of them, Refi being another one. They're just killing it. Okay, now that I have all of my cream or liquid products down, I'm gonna go in with the Makeup Forever pressed powder. So this is the HD Skin Perfecting Pressed Powder in 1.1 Light. Here it is. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my concealer brush here from BK Beauty, and I'm just gonna go in. I'm mostly concerned with setting my under eyes, because that's where we have just a lot of a lot of movement, and that's where it creases and starts to look really kind of like crusty. Sorry, that's such an ugly word. It starts to look crusty as the day goes on. But I'm gonna go ahead and just use this brush and kind of press that powder in. You know, I have dry skin, so I also don't like to use a lot of powder, and I also don't like to powder just sort of like willy-nilly all over, but I do want to set all of this down. That looks nice. Okay, with powder, without powder. Ooh, that's like super blurring. Super duper blurring. Wow, that looks really, really nice. Really nice. So smooth. All right, I'm gonna take a big brush because I do want to just lightly set down all the products on my cheeks. So I'm gonna take my BK Beauty 102 brush, this giant fluffy brush, and just press it into the powder just one time and pounce. My forehead is like dry as the Sahara, so I'm just gonna leave that alone. Maybe add a little bit extra to the tip of my nose, which is oily, can be oily. Wow, this powder's nice. It's really smoothing. It's really, really blurring. Wow, the font is so small. Hold on. Undetectable, ultra blurring touch-up pressed powder. It is really, really blurring. That's the first thing I noticed, especially when I put it underneath my eyes. Wow, okay, super duper impressed. I don't have any new brow products, so I'm just gonna go in with my Dior Onset Brow Gel. I've been using black, which is actually just a very, very dark brownish gray. It is a great, great shade. I had been using the dark brown in this brow gel, and it was nice because the brown wasn't too warm, but this I think suits me even better. So excited to be using this one. Okay, let's move on to eyeshadow. All right, let's try out the Natasha Denona Mini Eye Sculpt Cool Tone palette. Here are the 5 shades. I would say there's not that much of a difference between these two, except in terms of like color depth. But in terms of the tone, this center shade has a little bit more pink to it. I don't know if you can see that through the camera, but it's got just a little bit more pink to it. But a really nice range, I think, for just 5 shadows in here. And then here's the Mini Eye Sculpt palette. So let me do some swatches to kind of compare, but I think you can probably see how much warmer this palette is. Can I do that? Here. Let's try that. Okay. Yeah, I think you can see this is just the Mini Eye Sculpt palette. This is the Mini Eye Sculpt Cool Tone palette. And it's so funny, by itself, I always look at this palette and think, oh, this is such a great neutral palette, but next to the cool tone, it looks so much warmer, doesn't it? So here's like the Sculpt palette, and here's the Cool Tone palette, just as a quick reference. All right, I'm gonna take my Refer number 14 brush. It's this guy, it's like a small blender brush. I'm gonna go into shade number 2. Do they even have names? It's called Light Cool. That's the name of it. I'm gonna go into Light Cool. These shadows are really soft to the touch, and I don't know if you can see the amount of kick up there. They're pretty soft, so you don't have to jab your brush in there. Go gentle. Am I drooling? There's Light Cool. It looks like a warm gray on my lid, which I'm kind of loving, kind of like an elephant gray. And during Mishmas, I don't know if you guys caught any of those videos that I put up in December, but I was talking about how now that I've bleached my hair, I assume, before I bleached my hair, I assumed that like cooler toned makeup would look better on me, you know, just with like the bleached out hair or whatever. But I started to feel like warmer toned shades looked. I don't know if maybe it was the contrast. So we'll see with this eye look, if it looks, I don't know, if I prefer warm. But before I bleached my hair, I was kind of like really leaning hard into the cooler toned eyeshadow looks, full face, you know, cooler tone looks or whatever. And then once I bleached my hair, it didn't seem to pop. Maybe it's like I just look a little bit too washed out. I don't know. We'll see though. Okay, so that's Light Cool. Just kind of added to the outer corners and my socket line area. Since these two shades are relatively close, this one is medium cool. I'm gonna go to medium dark cool brown. I just wanna get a little bit of depth going here in the outer corner. The pigmentation is nice. The pigmentation level, I should say, is really, really nice. I feel like I'm putting down a good amount of pigmentation, but it's not too much where I'm having a hard time like blending it out. I'm gonna take my Esem T05 brush, go into this black shade here, and she actually calls this Deep Cool, this black shade, and then the one in the original Mini Sculpt is called just simply Black. I do see a little bit of a difference. I'm not sure that you guys will be able to see it on screen, but it looks like it's faded. Yeah, almost like it's a really, really, really dark brown, But you know what's interesting? I'm sorry, a dark gray. But what's really interesting is it almost looks like it has a little bit of warmth in there, even though it's in the cool palette. Do you see that? It has like almost like a little bit of brown. That's really interesting because it works. It works with this cool palette. Let me see if I can hold it up right next to the black here. So there's the black. Nice. I like that it's this basically like a soft black, but I'm going to use this as liner under my lashes. Just a little bit, my lower lash line. All right, I'm going to use my BK Beauty 202 brush. It's a fluffier blending brush and go into the lightest shade here. This is Fair Cool. See if that works underneath my brows here. I actually think I prefer like this pale shade. This one is almost too white, so it looks a little obvious underneath my brows here, but it's okay. It's okay. If you have a really, really cool toned complexion, that'll work beautifully. No surprise, I really like that. And I'm still just sitting here wondering, like, do I like cool toned eyeshadows on me? I don't know. I think it's fine. It's not like it did like a super bold look. But anyway, love these little palettes, and I really like this cool tone one. Really, really, really nice. These palettes are so great. They're teeny tiny. They're not that expensive. And if you are like traveling for work and you just need like a little something just to kind of like feel like you're, you know, polished or whatever, office ready, I think these are great. And I'm someone that likes like a satin shadow in there. But I think, you know, if I just want to do like an everyday basic look, these mattes are so great. So anyway, if you like Natasha Denona, like quality shadows, you're going to really like these. All right, let me curl my lashes and then we can use that Rare Beauty mascara that I've never used. Okay, so this is the Perfect Strokes Mascara Universal in black. And I don't think I've heard anything about the Rare Beauty mascaras, if they're good or bad or whatever, but Rare Beauty is another brand that I've had very, very good luck with. Like I love the liquid blushes, the lip glosses, I really, really love. Okay, so I'm excited to try this. This looks like it's gonna be a volumizing mascara. Generally, I like the lengthening ones where they have the wand that's like a little bit more like a comb, less like a brush. Wow, that is volumizing, that's for sure. I don't know that this mascara is for me though. Yeah, I just don't really like that thick lash look. I like when my lashes look a little bit like thinner and like finer, but like longer and curled. I just don't have enough lashes. I just don't have enough lashes for a volume mascara, but this seems like a very good volumizing mascara if you're into that. Okay, I'm really excited to try these Dior Addict Lip Glow Oils from Dior. So these are newly reformulated. The whole shade range has been kind of reconfigured. And so they have a bunch of different finishes now. So I got 2 sparkly ones. On the Sephora site, they're calling these a shimmer finish. And then they also have a high shine finish. But let me go to the Dior site because I could have sworn they had more finishes. So the 3 finishes on the Dior site are Juicy, Sparkly, and Glaze. I don't know the difference between Juicy and Glaze. Oh, here we go. Sparkly, a burst of iridescence. Glaze has a mirror shine, and then Juicy has an irresistible glow. Okay, I think Glaze is just super high shine, and then Juicy is just like their normal kind of shine. And I think what Sephora did was it clumped the Juicy and the Glaze all under what they're categorizing as high shine finish. So just FYI. Okay, so I got Minty because I was just dying to know what this would look like on the lips. And then I got this Mocha shade. Wow, so these sparkly finishes are really sparkly. I thought it was just gonna have like a little bit of shimmer in there, but yeah, these have quite a bit. These have quite a bit. Okay, let's try these out. So I'm gonna try out the Minty first. Packaging is pretty much the same. I mean, it looks a little bit different with the Dior and this like silver tone like collar here, but the doe foot pretty much the same. These have the same scent as their blush sticks, so it's kind of this like semi-minty, semi-birthday cake kind of scent, which is different from their older ones. Their older ones did not have this particular fragrance. So there's minty. The formula's okay. I think this formula is just a touch less oily than the previous Dior ones. Not that those were ever felt oily, but they had a really kind of nice gloss oil hybrid feel to them. These feel definitely more just like straight up like a lip gloss. And it could just be the sparkly finish. Maybe like the juicy ones or the glazed ones, maybe those are a little bit more oily, but at least for the sparkly ones and at least this shade. There is a little bit of a sticky problem. Can you guys see that? It's kind of gooping up a little bit. I don't feel like I put on that much, but let me remove this and we'll try the mocha on and see how that does. All right, let's try mocha. Yeah, these are stickier. These are definitely stickier. I don't like that. I really liked the previous version. This was not an improvement. Hey, if any of you have tried the juicy or the glaze version of these and you don't feel like they're sticky, can you please let us know down below in the comments section? I feel like I'm gonna have to try that finish out because this is, it doesn't even feel as good on the lips. It feels a little just kind of thicker, but yeah, it's like starting to goop a little bit. Okay, these I don't really like. I definitely don't like as much as the previous version. On top of that kind of strange like mint chocolate chip kind of scent, there's a little bit of like flavor too. I feel like I can kind of taste it. Not my favorite. Not my favorite. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try the other finishes and see. Oh well, you can't win them all. Gosh, I had high hopes for those, especially this minty. I was like, oh, look how fun that is. Kind of take the place of my lemon, the lemon one. I'm kind of bummed now. Anyway, wow. Okay, I think this reformulation was a winner. I'm loving this. Oh, I didn't even spray my powder melt spray. Well, let's take a look at my complexion without this first, but it looks really nice. It's so smooth. It's so like blurred. I think they did a really good job with this reformulation. And then the One Size Secure the Glow Primer. I think this was really, really great. I would just use a little bit less than I did or wait a little bit longer for it to set down because it worked on this side a lot better, I think, than this side where it did that balling up. I really, really like the Dior Bronze Balming Stick. I think that was really nice. The color is really, really great. The formula is really, really nice. It's definitely softer than the foundation stick or the contour stick, and it definitely has a little bit less pigmentation. So it's almost like mistake proof. It's like a nice, easy makeup product. I also really, really liked this Makeup Forever pressed powder. I mean, talk about blurring and perfecting. Look at underneath my eyes. And I haven't even used my setting spray yet. So that was great. The Natasha Denona mini eye sculpt cool tone palette, very, very nice. What else? The Refi products, really nice. Yeah, I guess I'm just kind of disappointed in the Dior glosses. Yeah, they're just really, can you see they're just really sticky, and I don't put that much on. So that is it for this try and haul. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.